And I was reminded of this joke I had about like, stuff that I learned in prison that I feel like I should have learned when I was a little boy, like pitching a tent, not like when you go camping, you pitch a tent, but like putting one end of the sheet with my feet and holding it down and the other end with my head so I can jerk off and nobody knows what I'm doing.
No, you don't do that.
Oh, I remember that joke. Yeah, I haven't heard that one in a while.
If I would have learned how to do that when I was a kid, I would have maintained a lot more friendships. Also, when I was in prison, I learned something that a lot of boys learn at a young age, and that's how to get butt fucked at church.
I thought I came out of the womb doing that. I don't.
Getting butt fucked or butt fucking?
That's how he was
getting butt fucked. That's how I was conceived. We all saw Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
Fucking ruled.
Shit, dude. It was so good. I had spoilers going forward if you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine. I had the X-23 one spoiled for me 4 hours before the movie.
I had the Gambit spoiled for me.
Oh no.
Yeah.
When Wesley Snipes
But I was still happy.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe they're going to show him, but they actually showed him fighting, so I was like, oh, okay, well.
Vander doesn't understand why that's significant at all.
Why Wesley Snipes was in it?
No, Gambit.
Like Gambit
why
was
Channing
Tatum
Tatum's
specifically.
was
Gambit was.
They've been trying to make a Channing Tatum-led Gambit movie for probably 15, 20 years.
Oh.
They've been trying...
What's Gambit?
Gambit's just one of the X-Men. He's
like my favorite X-Men.
He's a lot of people's favorite X-Men because he's the guy who takes the playing cards and charges them up, makes them explode.
Okay. I didn't know that was his name. Is Blade an X-Men?
No, he's not. He was just another character that another Marvel movie that Fox made over the years that just never went anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all those characters that were in that were all Fox Marvel movie characters, like Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm, Chris Evans.
That was the hilarious.
I made a lot of noise. I mean, I was at the 7 p.m. Thursday night showing, so like everyone who was there was a super nerd, everyone. But like I was like, oh my god!
God, that I'd laugh so fucking hard. Flame on, and I was because at that moment you literally forgot he played Johnny Storm.
I did.
I was like, why does Captain America look like that?
I thought so, and for me as the super sweaty comic book nerd, I thought they were doing in the comics as a point where because they did a little bit of it in Infinity War where Captain America becomes the Nomad.
Yeah.
And he's like bearded, and he basically looks like he does in Deadpool and Wolverine. So when he pops in, I was like, oh, they're doing fucking Nomad, and so it never even crossed my fucking mind that.
I don't think it crossed anybody's mind.
No. And then as soon as he said it, me and my buddy Aaron were both like, shut the fuck up.
Flame on.
And then they let him to let Chris Evans just spout off that shit in the post-credits scene.
That shit was hilarious, man.
As someone who's like not as like, because Vander, you're not as always you haven't seen as many of the things, you're not as into like as much of like the comic book and nerd stuff as that. Like, what was it like for you?
I mean, it was incredibly entertaining. I don't know, I'm familiar enough with the MCU as far as the movies. Like, I don't know a lot of the lore of comic books, but dude, that movie was my favorite out of the trilogy for sure.
That is the best one out of the trilogy. I don't think it.
I still think the first one's my favorite.
Really, honestly, I think
the first one's a close second for me, and then the second one was great.
Was good. I mean, these are all three very good movies.
Yeah. I just feel like, I was thinking about that today. Actually, I think Deadpool Wolverine was my favorite.
But I think a lot of it's just because the two of them, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's chemistry
played off perfectly.
They really did.
Yeah. That whole fight scene in the car where they're just stabbing each other for no fuck.
I'm going to fight you now.
Yeah.
I think my favorite of the whole thing was Wesley Snipes going, "I'm the only blade. Only ever gonna be one blade." And the amount of time that Deadpool looked into the camera and just let that sit for everybody. It's like they could have just looked and cut away. It's like, no, they let that just hang in the air for a little bit.
They didn't make fun of Elektra. They just, like, I like that too. They didn't really make fun of her character. They just put her in the movie.
I did like the shot at Ben Affleck and her being married, though. That was because she says,
I missed that.
So she says, "Well, Daredevil's here." Just Daredevil's here, and they're like, "Well, he died." "Oh, I'm so sorry." And she goes, "Eh." And it's like, oh,
I missed that.
That's funny on so many levels.
My favorite part was when yeah, he doesn't want to take his shirt off. He's gaining some weight. The divorce. I was like, I literally went, fuck.
They didn't, and I said this when I was talking about it with a couple. I was like, I think for anybody who was worried about Marvel in the MCU's hands being like too soft, no, they're fine. It's gonna be okay, guys. Yeah. I don't think he cursed as much, but they were like, it was crude and violent and I mean that opening credits sequence was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life, hands down.
That was great.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you a favorite moment because I think I was one of those moments where I left and my face hurt from smiling so much. It was just so.
My favorite was definitely at the end where all of the Deadpools pulled.
Oh, the big Deadpool fight.
Yeah, dude, that was
my favorite. Is actually probably
the guy that doesn't regenerate. And he's like, how
Gordon Deadpool.
How quickly?
Oh no, they call him Nice Pool.
Nice Pool. It's so funny. He's sitting there getting shot. And like the entire time I'm watching that, I'm like, they're gonna blow off his head, right? They're gonna blow off his head, right?
They did more than blow off his head.
And I was like, then he's fucking giving him seats.
Him and the dog, like when he's just sitting there just holding the dog and it's just fucking making out with him the whole time.
I watched that. He did the interview with I think either Kimmel or Fallon or something, and he was like, that was probably the most uncomfortable part of filming is having that dog's tongue deep throat me.
They're guest hosting Kimmel tonight together.
Are they really?
Yeah, they just posted. I saw a thing on Facebook today. It was
nice.
It was the Deadpool Wolverine thing, but reflected in the swords was Guillermo's face. Yeah, dude. It also the Green Day montage during the credits was excellent.
Yeah.
Loved that because, like, yeah, they called out Fox for like obvious shit, but like none of it ever felt like mean-spirited.
They also called out Disney.
Some of the shit Disney let them get away with being called out on, I was like, oh, okay.
Can we stop doing this multiverse shit?
Yeah, like the couple times, listen, guys, I know Marvel's been touch and go lately. It's like, wow, they said it. Okay, shit. But also when he thinks, like, am I in... I get to hang out with Captain America. Runs over the camera. Get fucked, Fox. I'm going to Disney World. Breaks the camera. Yeah, man.
But like, you gotta admit though, if it wasn't for Fox, there'd be no Marvel for Disney.
Which is why I think they. That's kind of the thing. The point I was trying to make was like it was still felt like a genuine love letter to literally everything that came before. Literally,
it's almost like a roast. Like the same thing as like a Comedy Central roast. Yes. Like they're shitting on the guy in the throne, but they love him.
You're 100% right, actually. Yeah, that's exactly it was. Yeah, I love that at the beginning when he's talking to. You don't know if he's talking to Happy or Favreau. Like, is he talking to Jon Favreau, the guy at Marvel, or is he talking to Jon Favreau as Happy? Is he asking to join the Avengers or asking to join the Avengers?
Right.
Although they did, I just saw on Facebook today, they added Deadpool to the Avengers campus at Disney.
Yeah. Nice. He reads stories.
But he has like a story, like he reads stories at the top of every hour. And then he like dances to Celine Dion around like the like in the background at stuff. And then his guns have been replaced with baguettes. Because they're not going to have him walking around with toy guns in his holster. Yeah, that's asking for a problem. But yeah, there's baguettes and like the checkered bread that you see at like Italian restaurants.
It was a very, very great movie.
Yeah.
That did not disappoint at all.
I hadn't had a good experience at the theater in a while. Like even like, and I'm not counting like going to like Oppenheimer or shit like that. Yeah. But like just going to a movie And that's why like when I've always said like if I go, it's gonna be for something like big like this, and if I'm gonna go like opening night with other fucking nerds who were just there to watch the movie. We had the GM come out in ours. He was basically, hey, I'm the GM here at Star Wars. Make sure you guys do maximum effort to enjoy the movie and turn your phones the F off.
Did he really say that?
Yeah.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. Good on him for having a sense of humor about it.
Has Ryan Reynolds at all like mentioned if he's going to do Deadpool again?
Well, no, he hasn't, and I think that was kind of the way they. First of all, I also loved how like all the times that Deadpool just leaned in and went till you're 90 to Hugh Jackman, because I think that was basically what they were doing at the end. Is like it's not so much that they're going to now fold him in with everything as it is just that universe exists, we acknowledge it, and now that we're doing all this multiverse shit, we can.
You can kind of expect to see anybody who's dead.
Basically, now he's working. It looks like he's just got an in with the TVA from Loki. So then now they can just
do whatever.
Cool. There we go. And that's, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I can live with that because
now the MCU will live forever.
Well, and also the idea of like, because I know a lot of people felt really weird going into this who were like the idea of like treating the Fox universe like you're chopping off a limb, like you're saying like fuck everything that came before. And this was their nice way of saying, no, it still exists. We're not killing it. Killing it was what we were trying to avoid, the whole point of the movie. It's just now we have the liberty to go and pull from it as we need to. And I like that's a nice way to kind of make everybody happy without like shitting on the work that people have done for years.
What did fucking Gambit say about him coming out of his dad's balls or some shit?
I don't.
But I was just like, what the fuck?
I honestly can't wait to watch it again because I know there's shit that I missed either from laughing or like when they're fighting all the Deadpools. It's like I can only look at one thing at a time. I'm missing shit. Follow the Dayton comedy scene on social media at Gem City Comedy or learn more at www.gemcitycomedy.com. Oh, I did want to talk about fucking Olympics opening ceremony, man.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, dude, that shit was so cool. They got one of the dopest fucking metal bands to kick that thing off. And from there, it was like, oh my God. Like
I'm Christian. I don't watch it.
I heard it was a bunch of non-binary trans Satanists.
Oh, dude.
I ain't about that life.
Like no bullshit. Like it was one of the best opening ceremonies, like Gojira notwithstanding, like it was such a cool opening ceremony. It was like, it's up there with like when China did theirs. Like it's in terms of just like a country showing the fuck off.
You know what? I've never watched any of the Olympics.
Oh, dude.
I'm not big into the Olympics.
I rarely watch the games. I always watch the opening ceremonies. I don't know why, because they fascinate me, and it's because America's never done a good one, but other countries fucking rule at it.
I think the only thing I've ever watched is actually curling, because curling, I'm like, I can do that.
Oh, really?
That's it. Like,
I rarely watch the actual. I'll watch the Winter Olympics more than the Summer Olympics because the Winter Olympics are more interesting to me because they've got like the biathlon, which is like the skiing with the rifle shooting.
Yeah, I don't know what the.
I don't know, but it's cool.
Fucking James Bond. Like, what the fuck are you trying to?
No, I wish they would get timber sports in the Olympics.
That'd be cool.
I watch the fuck out of timber sports.
Like even the judo and stuff like that. I've never got into the Olympics at all. Like even when baseball, when they had the professional, like not the college kids, but the professional guy, like nothing into it. Never been into the fucking basketball. I've never been to any Olympic sport other than curling because I was like, curling is like, I feel like I could do this.
I like the opening ceremonies because, like I said, it's just these are just I like getting to see countries like show the fuck off. Like the UK's was really good because they had like a whole they had a thing with like where like the Queen parachuted in with like like a James Bond, and Mr. Bean did a whole thing with the fucking orchestra at the beginning that was hysterical. They did like a Doctor Who thing. France's was. I mean, France didn't just do French history; they also did a lot of Greek. I mean, like the Dionysus thing that everyone's getting up in arms about. Like it was,
which they really misconstrued.
Cool. Anyway,
when America does their next one, it's just going to be a bunch of kids getting shot in a school.
Well, you saw the next one's going back to Salt Lake. The next one that the U.S. gets is going to be in Salt Lake.
So what there's going to be is a bunch of people protesting an election, and then kids getting shot in school. That's what we're good at.
Well, I remember the last time they had it in Salt Lake was when Robin Williams did his Live on Broadway, and he said, "Come on down to Salt Lake for the Olympics. Bring your wives." I mean, wait, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I love the opening ceremonies. It's one of the few times I get even remotely patriotic is when it's like, yeah, go Team USA. But like, I don't actually watch. It's just I wait until I hear that like the U.S. scored a medal. Like especially when I used to work at the news station, the big digital billboard above the mall always would put up like the medal numbers. Yeah. So I would always like check that as I was going home because we didn't air the Olympics. We weren't NBC. So I would be driving home and I get to look up and see how the Olympics were going.
I do feel bad for the athletes because most of them don't make money.
Oh, no. God,
and
no.
it's like they train for years.
That's what keeps a lot of people out of the Olympics is not having the money for the costs for like the travel and all that. That's on them.
The most fucked up thing ever.
That's why a lot of them depend on those endorsements. You know. Speaking of which,
Flavor Flav did like it. That's like really big in the women's polo because he found out like all of them have like second jobs.
Yeah,
and he was like, "What?"
Yeah, and also I love Snoop's involvement in everything.
Yeah,
did you see him up in the stands with the one dude's wife? There's been online. There's been this clip circulating online. He was like there watching this one swimmer compete with his wife while she's holding their like 3-month-old baby.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
And he's like rooting for him with her, and then I think he won. And I love all the memes that are like, I don't know when we decided that Snoop Dogg was America's national mascot, but cool. We're cool.
Dude, he fucking loves all sports.
Snoop Dogg's cool, man.
Fucking loves all sports. He's about that.
He's just a cool fucking dude.
Hey guys, Mike Shea here. Just want to thank y'all so much for watching the Three Mics on YouTube, listening to the podcast, and enjoying our clips. If you do enjoy the show, please make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check out our website, www.the3mics.com, to find out where you can see us next and follow along with us everywhere we're at.
I do want to say the most important thing I feel like they did, because I have somebody at work who does not like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Okay.
Because of the fact that he's not comic accurate.
Oh.
He's never liked him as Wolverine because of that. And they fucking did it.
Yes.
And immediately, as soon as I got out of the movie, I was like, guess what, motherfucker? And he was like, you're right. You're right. It doesn't work.
You're never getting short King Wolverine. Sorry, guys.
He's like, you're right. It doesn't work. I was like, I know.
In the comics, he's a short
They made him way too short, though, for that.
Well, it was basically they took Hugh Jackman and on Photoshop and dragged the corner down.
I was like,
when Henry Cavill showed up and shotgunned his claws out. This whole show is one big.
Hey, why don't you those dumb fucks down the street? Like, I was like, yeah.
And see, I think that's one of the things where Disney probably pulled the leash a little bit, because in Deadpool 2, they called out DC by name directly a lot. And in this one, I feel like it was a lot more of like, hey, don't do that. we Disney and Warner Brothers can't fight with each other.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah,
I meant to mention that earlier. Just the comic accurate Wolverine, and then that happened because this guy has been arguing for like over a year about
a lot of people have. Why isn't he short? Why isn't he short? Because he looked fucking stupid.
Like really fucking stupid.
They're basically saying they wanted Tom Cruise to be Wolverine.
They wanted, a lot of people have been saying for years have been saying they wanted Tom Hardy to be the next one, because he's
still 5'8".
He's still tall. Like you would need a guy who's like the size of Rick Moranis.
Yeah, because like Wolverine, I think is 5'2" or 5'3" in
he's
the comic.
short. Yeah, that's part of the whole.
Jesus.
That was part of the whole thing behind him being, because he originally shows up in a Hulk comic as just some adversary trying to hunt down and kill the Hulk. That's Wolverine's origin. Everything else was retro later on.
Y'all are so nerdy.
I'm a fucking dude. I
did like how
there was a lot of sex not happening with me in high school.
They pulled a lot of things from comics, though.
Yeah, they did.
When he was going from timeline to timeline.
Well, that's why I was glad I went to Thursday night with all the nerds. So because I've been to some of those movies where like you go see it 2 weeks later with all the moms and you're the only one laughing because you're the only one who gets the joke.
Well, I loved like the whole fucking. They had his original suit, like the what you call it, blood orange, the blood brown orange.
Yeah,
I don't know what they call what the suit's called, but I was like, oh fuck yeah. I wish we would have got a Hulk Wolverine fight though. Yeah,
we almost did. We got a little bit of Hulk in for a split second. For a second I thought they were gonna cut over and it was gonna be Edward Norton, or the OG Hulk, or fucking Lou Ferrigno.
No. I was about to say. Wait, who's the OG?
There was a movie in 2003 with Eric Bana that wasn't very good. It was actually really bad. And it was awful. It was boring.
So technically, Lou Ferrigno is the OG.
Lou Ferrigno is the real original. Yeah, but he was just yoked like that.
Right.
Yeah. So did you catch who like some of the voice cast was for the other Deadpools?
Matthew McConaughey was one.
What was the cowboy one?
Because when I heard that, I was like, that voice sounds familiar, and I can't figure out.
And Blake Lively was the blonde one.
His kids are in it.
His kids were the baby Deadpool and the little kid Deadpool. Rob McElhenney had a scene as a TVA agent, but I guess it got cut. And then
what if he did it on purpose?
Maybe. That would be fucking hilarious. And then because then two of the guys from Wrexham were Deadpools. One was Wrexham Deadpool, and the other one was Canada Pool.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's another thing about the drive-thru is like you can't drive in whatever.
Yeah.
So we went to McDonald's, the drive-thru. But the drive-in sucks because I couldn't hear voices like in real time. Like I could barely understand what they were saying, let alone
a lot of this shit I looked up after.
It took us so long to realize that was Channing Tatum. Oh, it took us a long ass time.
Well, also to be fair, Channing. This is also like because you've seen what Channing Tatum looks like now, where he's like Yudge.
Yeah.
And this is like Yudge Channing. So unless you know who Gambit is, or unless you know the joke, your first thought is, who the fuck is that?
And I would have known it by his voice if I could hear it more clearly. So.
It was so funny. They did him right.
I also love that his accent was terrible.
Oh,
and they made fun of how bad it is.
Yeah. So bad.
Because I was one of the people who had been saying for a long time, like, because I never understood why everyone wanted Channing Tatum as Gambit so bad. Because I was like, who says he can do the accent?
Yeah.
I was like, why does everybody keep assuming that he's perfect for Gambit? How do we know he didn't test screen for it and it was trash?
Yeah.
22 Jump Street, where he's pretending to be the next thing. He's like,
my name's Jeff.
That was his audition for my name Gambit.
But they did his character right, though, and the way how the fighting style. Because that's the one thing I was like kind of like nervous about is like they'll never do a Gambit movie ever.
Well, but here's the thing, and because you didn't watch, did you watch X-Men '97?
Yeah.
Yeah, after he had that fucking, he was the star of that one episode.
Yeah.
Because everybody had been saying throughout the whole, when the show originally aired, because they kind of they really like soft-handed Gambit during the original show, because it was a Saturday morning cartoon. I love how Vander's just like, I'm out. It's just so they finally let him off leash. So if they're gonna put Gambit in there, they better not fuck it up.
Yeah.
You know. So they better at least do it justice. So we'll see what happens if they ever when the X-Men eventually come into Marvel.
I don't think they'll ever.
We'll see.
I know it's still a lot of people.
It won't be Channing Tatum, but I also think they also proved that Gambit's suit looks kind of ridiculous in real life.
Wait. Yeah, I was like, they got the suit down perfect, and that is awful.
Well, I said the same thing about Wolverine's mask. I thought the mask looked dumb.
It did.
Especially the weird CGI they had over the eyes. It didn't look great, and it made me realize even more, because people have been saying they want Batman to have white eyes in a movie for years, and I've always said it can't work.
Yeah.
And that to me was proof why it can't work, because you can't. He's like having this scene acting with Ryan Reynolds, and you can't see anything that's happening, and it was kind of that was the one thing that took me out a little bit.
I'd go see it again.
If I had the time.
If Miles was older, I'd take him to see it.
Oh, sure. Well, what I loved, and Vander, you'll love this. was all the parents who were like complaining they took their kids to an MCU movie, and it's like it was Deadpool.
It was rated R.
It was rated R. What is wrong with you idiots?
There's one going on Twitter that was like kind of going viral. I was like, is this kind of like a joke? That's doing this as a joke? Is this for real?
It's gotta be. There's no way it's legit.
Yeah, there's like no fucking way.
Like, I know people are dumb, but they're not that dumb.
No, the movie's fucking rated R.
Yeah. Please, come on. After the first one. Like, when the first one came out, and I was at the theater and I was seeing, like, people there with their 7-year-olds because they didn't know, I totally get that.
Yeah.
This is the third fucking movie.
Yeah.